What's going on, guys? Stefan here with you, S&E's Garage. Today we are back in the shop with this 2022 WRX, and we are going to be installing a Perrin cold air intake. So from what I can tell, this intake is rather simple to install. There is an elbow that goes from the turbo up here to the airbox that we're going to be replacing, and then it looks like we're going to have to remove this as well. So what I'm going to do first, we're going to go ahead and just strip the whole intake out. We're going to go ahead and pop these clips out, and then we will go ahead and remove this air snorkel. Now, I am not sure if this gets reused. It looks like you may be able to reuse this to direct air to the filter. So like I said, we're gonna put it aside and we'll reevaluate if it gets used a little later in the video. All right, guys, so the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and unclip this mass airflow sensor from the airbox, and we're gonna loosen this intake clamp up here closer to the fender, and then we're gonna remove the airbox. This should give us a better a view of what's going on down here to go ahead and remove the intake tube from the turbo. So removing the factory airbox is super easy. You're gonna have two 10mm bolts, one here, and then there is a nut here that comes in through the radiator support. I used a ratcheting wrench to go ahead and take that one out, and then we just used our impact gun to go ahead and pull these out. And again, we did unclip our mass airflow sensor. Now you are gonna have to transfer this mass airflow onto the new intake pipe. We'll do that in a minute. We're just gonna go ahead and pull the rest of this intake out. If you look down there, there is one more clamp that we're going to go ahead and remove. And I might do that from underneath. I'm not sure yet because I can't see the clamp itself from here. It might be easier to get that from the bottom, but let's see what happens. All right, guys, so we opted to do everything from the top here. There's gonna be one 10mm bolt up here that you're going to have to remove that helps hold this onto the charge pipe. Basically, if anything, it's going to come in through this side, and then this clamp, little 8mm, you can get down there and pop it out, and then you just have to work this hose off. All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and slide this over the turbo inlet pipe down in the fender well. You'll see it right there with the clamp on it, and then in order to secure this to the hardware in the car, you are going to need this little spacer that they include, and then they're going to have an M6 nut and washer that you're going to use. All right, guys, so off camera, we just went ahead and installed the mass airflow sensor into this intake tube. Now, in order to install this tube onto the turbo inlet pipe, you are going to need this hardware here. There is a little spacer with a long M6 bolt and then a nut and a washer that are going to go on the back side of it. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna slide this end here into the turbo inlet. I'm gonna go ahead and get this hardware set up, and then I'll show you the results when we're done. All right, guys, so it's easier for me to show you what's going on under here from under here. So we just pulled this splash panel back. I have it bungee corded to the lift. But you're gonna install this bracket here on the top bolt into the factory bracket location. You're gonna put your hose in, and then there's another bracket here up under the headlight that you're gonna have to install with the spacer on the top by the bracket, and then the rest of the hardware. So now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna drop the airbox in just to kind of get a feel for how everything is supposed to be, and then we can tighten all of this stuff up. Right now, everything is loose just so that we have the maneuverability that we need up here. But let's get topside again and drop the airbox in and see where we're at. Okay, guys, and this is what you should see here. You are gonna have to cut this wire loom here a little bit, or electrical tape, to get your mass airflow harness to reach the new location of the MAF sensor. You'll see our bracket here is nice and tight. Again, with the hardware, as I showed you, the spacer is underneath. We showed you that from under the car. And now we just went ahead and tightened up our hose clamp down there, and we also tightened up the second bracket. So now we are at a point where we can go ahead and take our filter and drop it on. And then they want you to put the airbox on after the filter, believe it or not. I'm not sure why. We're gonna do it the way they tell us. So let's go ahead, get the filter, slide it on, and then we'll get the airbox in. All right, guys, so this is the finished result here. We actually had an issue with the air filter that Perrin included with this kit. It's a two-piece filter, and it's a oil, like foamed filter. So it looks like this. You have a cage and then a filter. And what was happening is anytime we tried to tighten this hose clamp any bit, it would slide right off of the filter because there wasn't a big enough lip. So we just had to run to AutoZone, and we grabbed this K&N filter, it tightened up as it should right away with no problems. So if you have one of these intakes, or you bought one of these intakes and you have that issue, just go to AutoZone, get a K&N filter. My buddy here is going to call Perrin and yell at them and, you know, let them know, see what kind of other, you know, filters that they might have. But the finishing touch here that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this factory snorkel back in if it fits. If it doesn't fit, we're not going to, but yeah, it does fit. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and put this back on, and this should help channel some nice cool air right onto that filter. But let's just go ahead and put these clips on, and then we'll have Tony fire it up and give it a couple revs. All right, let's fire her up. I like that. All right, guys, so we're here in the WRX. We just got done doing the intake and exhaust on it. You hear we got some nice induction noise coming from that turbo. We got some nice exhaust noise coming from the back. And it actually sounds really good. You get a little bit of that blow-off noise when the recirculate valve opens. And just cruising right now, Tony and I could definitely have a conversation. It's not overbearing. But in a second, we're going to go ahead, we'll do a quick poll for you, and then we'll go ahead and call this video done. All right, we're going to go ahead and give it a little pull once we get past this curve. So what do you think, Tony? You happy with the results here?
I love it, bro.
Awesome.
Sounds so good.
Thank you guys for watching here at S&E's Garage. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. I highly doubt you can even see me right now, but we will see you guys on the next one.